Fact 20. Huge production cost. The film's production cost reached $315,000, equivalent to over $2.8 million today. This was extremely high for a half-hour animated program at that time, nearly 10 times the $76,000 spent on A Charlie Brown Christmas. The main reason was the superior animation quality. Chuck Jones's film used up to 15 drawings per foot, compared to the typical 3 drawings per foot, making movement smoother and more detailed. In total, over 25,000 drawings were created, making production last 11 to 14 months. Fact 19. The Grinch was originally only white. In the original book by Dr. Seuss, the Grinch had no specific color. Early illustrations were only black and white. When director Chuck Jones began adapting the story into a color TV special in 1966, he and Dr. Seuss faced an important question. What color should the Grinch be? The decision to choose green came from a very accidental event. Jones often drove rather ugly green rental cars when visiting Dr. Seuss in La Jolla, California. That color stuck in his mind as the perfect shade, both unpleasant and distinct. Fact 18. The Grinch's eyes turn from red to green out of emotion. For most of the short film, the Grinch's eyes are red, reflecting his bitter, cunning nature. But when he discovers the true meaning of Christmas, seeing the Who's joyfully celebrating despite having their gifts stolen, his heart suddenly grew 3 sizes. At that moment, his eyes visually turn green, signaling a complete transformation from selfishness to compassion. This is regarded as one of the finest examples of Chuck Jones's animation skill. Fact 17. Dr. Seuss opposed choosing Boris Karloff to voice the Grinch. Initially, Dr. Seuss was reluctant to adapt his book, fearing a repeat of past cinematic failures. He was also concerned that the voice of actor Boris Karloff, known for horror roles like Frankenstein's monster, might make the Grinch too scary for young audiences. However, Chuck Jones insisted that Karloff's haunting resonance would make the Grinch not only frightening, but also charismatic and humanized. The results proved Jones correct. Karloff's voice was distinctive, cold, yet contained a hint of warmth. Do you think the Grinch would have been too scary without Karloff's subtle warmth? Share your thoughts. Fact 16. Dr. Seuss's personal license plate was Grinch. To show his personal connection to the Grinch, Dr. Seuss got the license plate Grinch for his car. He was so personally connected to the character that the plate became a symbol linking him to the cranky creature he created. After Dr. Seuss's death in 1991, his widow, Audrey Geisel, continued to use the Grinch plate on her car. Fact 15. No brand would sponsor the film. Although Dr. Seuss approved the project, it nearly failed due to a lack of funding. At that time, special TV programs usually relied on commercial sponsorships. A Charlie Brown Christmas was backed by Coca-Cola. However, Chuck Jones was not so fortunate. He brought storyboards and scripts to over 20 potential companies, including cereal and toy manufacturers, but all declined. Companies feared the Grinch story could backfire. Jones finally found an unexpected sponsor, the Foundation for Commercial Banks. Can you believe 20 companies said no to Dr. Seuss? What was the riskiest sponsorship you remember seeing in the 1960s? Fact 14. The animated film exists because of World War II. The collaboration between animator Chuck Jones and writer Theodore Dr. Seuss Geisel began during World War II, nearly 2 decades before The Grinch was released. They both worked on the U.S. War Department's propaganda animation project, Private Snafu, producing short films to train soldiers. This experience established the artistic vision and trust needed for later projects, making the production of The Grinch smooth and efficient. Fact 13. Chuck Jones had to fill 26 minutes. When making the film, Chuck Jones faced a major challenge. The original Dr. Seuss book only took about 12 minutes to read, while the TV special needed to run 26 minutes. To fill the gap without disrupting the narrative, Jones creatively added numerous new elements, notably the increased role of Max, the loyal but suffering dog of the Grinch. The addition of the action sequence where Max is tied to the sleigh and struggles down Mount Crumpet was not in the book, but brought depth and life to the story. Fact 12. Its success led to 2 spin-offs. After the massive success of the special, The Grinch quickly became a holiday cultural icon, prompting producers to expand the story. This resulted in 2 new specials. Halloween is Grinch Night, 1977, and The Grinch's The Cat in the Hat, 1982. The first even won an Emmy for Outstanding Children's Animated Program, affirming the character's enduring television appeal. Fact 11. The Grinch looks more like director Chuck Jones than the original. When Chuck Jones began designing The Grinch, he didn't realize he had accidentally left such a personal mark on the character. Upon seeing the first sketch, Dr. Seuss laughed and said, "That doesn't look like the Grinch. That looks like you." Jones had a habit of unconsciously borrowing his own facial expressions for animated characters. This made the Grinch's face, with its round chin, full cheeks, and sly smile, closely resemble Chuck Jones in real life. Now, when you look at the Grinch, do you see a monster or do you see the director? Let us know. Fact 10. Thurl Ravenscroft went uncredited for singing. You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. For many years, the public mistakenly believed Boris Karloff both narrated and sang the iconic song, "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch." The real voice behind the deep, resonant vocals was Thurl Ravenscroft, a professional bass singer famous for voicing Tony the Tiger in Kellogg's Frosted Flakes commercials. Due to a post-production error, Ravenscroft's name was not credited in the film. When the mistake was realized, Dr. Seuss personally sent letters to major U.S. newspapers clarifying that Thurl Ravenscroft was the performer. Fact 9. The Grinch film inspired a real-life romance. Chuck Jones happened to meet his future spouse, Marion Dern, a journalist, when Marion interviewed Dr. Seuss. Amid the creative atmosphere of the set, the two quickly discovered a shared passion for storytelling. Their relationship gradually deepened, and they married, living together for more than 3 decades. In a way, The Grinch was not only a career milestone for Jones, but also the beginning of a real-life romance. Fact 8. The Grinch stealing Christmas scene was the most complex sequence in the film. To extend the film, the scene where the Grinch silently enters each house and steals everything was used. Technically, this sequence was one of the most complex Chuck Jones's team ever executed. The process used over 15,000 animation drawings and 1,200 character layouts. As a result, every glance of the Grinch exudes a mischievous yet captivating personality. Fact 7. Fans requested a translation of the song for Who Foray. When first hearing the song Welcome Christmas, many viewers believed the words sung during the scene, Fa Who Foray Da Has, were in ancient Latin with religious significance. The network even received letters from viewers requesting a translation. Dr. Seuss intentionally mimicked the cadence of classical Latin to evoke solemnity and sacred emotion without tying it to any specific religion. Fact 6. Dr. Seuss wrote all the lyrics. A little-known fact is that Dr. Seuss personally wrote all the lyrics for the songs in the film, collaborating with composer Albert Haig. He created three iconic songs: Welcome Christmas, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch, and Trim Up the Tree. Each song retains Seuss's unique poetic rhythm, blending perfectly with the story's message. Fact 5. Outstanding success with 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Upon release, How the Grinch Stole Christmas quickly became a television phenomenon. The film still holds a perfect 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. The film's success stemmed not only from artistic quality, but also from its enduring cultural impact, becoming an annual holiday program attracting tens of millions of viewers. Fact 4. Some scenes were cut after editing. Over the years, the film underwent several edits and censorship adjustments. One notable change was the removal of the line, "You're a rotter, Mr. Grinch," from the famous song, as the word was considered too harsh for children. Additionally, the scene in which the Grinch gives a creepy smile while approaching the bed of whose children was cut from some broadcasts, deemed potentially frightening for young viewers. Fact 3. 2 feature films were produced, including live action. The classic Grinch story was adapted into 2 notable feature films. The first, a live-action version, directed by Ron Howard with Jim Carrey as the Grinch, required Jim Carrey to spend many hours in makeup each day. In 2018, the Grinch returned in a 3D animated version produced by Illumination with Benedict Cumberbatch voicing the main character. Fact 2. The Grinch was created as a critique of consumerism. The Grinch was created as Dr. Seuss's sharp critique of the consumerism spreading in 1950s American society. Against this backdrop, Dr. Seuss created the Grinch, a creature who hated Christmas so much that he wanted to steal all gifts. This act led to the humanistic realization: maybe Christmas doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas means a little bit more. Fact 1. June Foray voiced Cindy Lou Who. June Foray was one of Hollywood's legendary voice actors. In the classic animated film, she voiced Cindy Lou Who, the innocent little girl who famously asked the Grinch, "Why are you taking our Christmas tree?" June Foray also famously voiced Rocky the Flying Squirrel and Natasha Fatale, cementing her as a widely recognized voice actor. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is a vibrant masterpiece packed with fascinating behind-the-scenes stories. From Chuck Jones having to extend the story to the techniques of changing the Grinch's eye color and heart to express his inner thoughts. Which fact surprised you the most? Dr. Seuss opposing Boris Karloff, or that the Grinch looks like his director? Share your opinion in the comments below, and remember to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next shocking cinematic secrets.